Hello, I'm Keith Brown and welcome to issue number 3 of Whatever Etc., my video log or vlog. I wanted to talk to you today as a continuation of issues number 1 and 2, where I was kind of giving the broad view of what I call anarcho-cynicism. I kept mentioning the term philosophizing as a way of life. I wanted to also kind of point out to a couple of the people who've contacted me. I'm not saying that philosophy in the universities is not philosophy. I'm not saying that philosophy in the universities is useless. I'm drawing the distinction between philosophy as scholarship or scholastics and philosophizing as a way of life. And philosophy as scholastics informs a good portion of the kinds of things that I want to share with you and say to you. But it's also about being an authority on an authority. Whereas philosophizing is a way of life, I hope to slowly but surely get to show you over the course of a few of these vlogs. Philosophizing as a way of life is about becoming not an authority on an authority, but becoming an authority on your own experiences, an authority on your own life. Now, philosophizing as a way of life, I'm often told by people, Keith, you don't have to take apart the term philosophy. We know what philosophy means. It means love of wisdom. But I think you do, because philos, from which we get the love in love of wisdom, philos actually is familial love. And so it's a love that's a bond. It's a love that's almost a blood relationship. Sometimes philos can, brotherly love, the sort of the brotherhood or the sisterhood of that dear companion who's become like family. So in one sense, then, what we're saying here is we're talking about our kind of engaged devotion, an engaged bond to wisdom. But then what's wisdom? The word in the Germanic term, which we're translating from Greek Sophia, which actually is one of their excellences or one of the virtues. This Greek Sophia, the Germanic term wisdom actually means doomed to see. And I think that's really important when you consider how much emphasis we put on vision. But I also want to say that this seeing is not the kind of, not to be ocularly centered in that way, but to be utilizing in language that kind of ambiguity that to see can mean either to look out of your eyes, or it can mean to comprehend or to understand. And so really that's what we're talking about here, is we're talking about, with Sophia, we're talking about that we have to try to comprehend. But what are we trying to comprehend? It's then an engaged devotion to envisioning or comprehending our own possibilities. Way, that's pretty simple. I mean, it's a path, it's an avenue, it's a method, it's a skill. Method is a really good way. It's really good determination, I think, because method comes from the Greek word meta hodos, which means the way beyond. So philosophizing as a way, or philosophizing as a method, it's the way beyond what we've come to think of as ourselves, to see the broader possibilities of ourselves. So in that, then, philosophizing as a way of life. Life here would be the vocation to be yourself, the vocation to excellently practice what it means to be who you are. So it's this life is a know thyself kind of life. It's the process of your being this particular human being, which is unlike any other human being. So we could go forward then and say that philosophizing as a way of life is the process of engaging your full humanity as this human being, to activating your authentic power of comprehending or envisioning your own possibilities. And now, having said all of that, this philosophizing as a way of life, which is kind of central to this anarcho-cynicism that I'm talking about. This philosophizing as a way of life is not something that I am coming up out of the blue. It's something that has been rediscovered through the scholarship of a number of people, among them Pierre Hadot. But again, what we're wanting here is not to be an authority on an authority, an authority on Plato, an authority on Socrates, an authority on Pierre Hadot, H-A-D-O-T, but to take what they're talking about and to see how this helps us to comprehend, to transform our situatedness, how we see ourselves, and become the broader, more open human being that we can become, that can seize opportunities to flourish. So philosophizing as a way of life then is developing methods and skills and techniques that we might call mindful practices or spiritual practices. Mindful I like a little better because it kind of goes to it doesn't allow it to slowly degenerate into some kind of religiosity. So mindful practice intended to effect a transformative modification in the ones who practice it. So philosophizing as a way of life then would be developing mindful practices that allow you to comprehend the full breadth of your possibilities. So unlike scholarly instructors who are authorities on authority, you're becoming an authority on your own experience and an authority on yourself through trying to know yourself through this philosophizing. The one who philosophizes seeks every means of discourse by which we can encourage others to philosophize. We can encourage others to practice mindful engagement so that we have cohorts and companions. The key to this is really watching in the singular paradigms in history like Confucius or Buddha or Jesus, but especially Socrates, because as anarcho-cynics, when we look back at Socratic therapy or the Socratic method, we see that what's always emphasized is the profound importance of a living contact between human beings. So it's kind of ironic here that I'm talking to you across the airwaves or across the Ethernet through a video log, but the whole purpose of doing this in conjunction with my scholarly colleagues Pierre Hadot and my scholarly mentors like Karl Jaspers is to see the paradigms of people like Diogenes and Socrates, stressing how those men and women take on being called philosophers, and being called philosophers as they see this is not to be great scholars, but is to be someone who is to be judged not by the rigor of their scholarship, but how they live their lives, how people do what they do, and are judged then by what they do rather than by what they say. Philosophizing is a way of life, the process of engaging your full humanity through this method or this rigorous activity of authentically comprehending your power to envision your own possibilities. And so despite how I'm encouraging you right now to do this, I'm encouraging you through blogs I write and through doing these video logs, and for quite a few of you I send out something I call a textimony, which is just text messaging, 140 character aphorism every now and then. All of this really is to encourage you to engage your family, to engage your loved ones, to engage your bosses and your friends in real communication, because that's what we need to be doing. Philosophizing as a way of life is developing the techniques and the skills to profoundly devote yourself to comprehending the full breadth of your possibilities and to encouraging other people to do the same, so that through dialogue, so that through communication, unlike so many people throughout history who cut themselves off in order to think the most profound thoughts, we're wanting to live a profound life. And in living a profound life, we have to try to get other people to want to engage as well, to create a community. And that community we now, because of technoscience, that community is the community around you where you actually physically live, but it's also here on the net. This should not replace where you live, but in case you do live in some place that's a hellhole, where people don't seem to want to really communicate with each other, this is a means for getting together and sometimes talking about the broader, more profound possibilities that you might be able to actualize in your life. And so also, if you will look below this video posting on YouTube channel today, it also has information on how to become my friend on Google+, because I know that there are a great deal of you who are scattered far and abroad, and this would be an easy way for us to talk to each other face to face. I want you to become my friend on Google+, so we can do Google Huddles or Google Hangouts, Google Hangouts, and communicate about the need to care for each other, and about the need to encourage each other to care for ourselves. So until the next time I talk to you, I hopefully will see you on a Google Hangout before then. Bye-bye.